and we want to see you. Nidal Ayesh, you are welcome. You are a TVET, Technical and Vocational Education Training expert, and you are the coordinator of the New Skills Development Fund in Palestine. And I would like also to ask another person to join the conversation, Silvio Ginko. Silvio, you are the head of the VET department in the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research in the Republic of Moldova. So two very important players here. But I want to start, if you allow me, from Nidal Ayesh. First of all, welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you, Syria, and good afternoon. First, let me thank Sylvia for this helpful introductory. And good morning, everyone on this virtual stage. And also, I would like to thank the ETF for this opportunity that you gave us to learn from each other. Of course, it's my pleasure to be with you today representing Enabel in Palestine to share you one of our experiences about establishing a national skills development fund in Palestine. Of course, the idea of the Skills Development Fund is Palestine exists since a long time, and it's not something new. It was clearly mentioned at the TVET strategy with its different versions, and also in other literature and studies. So the theoretical concept was always there. But the main challenge that we always faced is the implementation and how to shift from having the concept, the theoretical framework, to the implementation and to having things on the ground. Also related to that, the main question was always how to have all the actors on the same table with the same vision and goals. Ultimately, we need them to have a common understanding and agreement on the structures, on the implementation, on the criteria, standards, and of course, at the end, we need to ensure the sustainability of this new mechanism in Palestine, not only to have an experience and to not have it on the national level. Of course, based on that, Enabel took the initiative through our existing project, the Skilled Young Palestine, of course, hand by hand with our strategic partner, the Ministry of Labor in Palestine, where the discussion started, not excluding anyone of the actors. So after general discussion, we planned the implementation of this new mechanism on three main phases. Of course, the first phase started with developing the tool on a collaborative approach with full engagement of all partners. Of course, to reach this, we already started an extensive social dialogue for 5 to 6 months with all the actors to gather the views of all the stakeholders and partners across Palestine. Of course, this includes the government agencies, the donors as well, the private sector umbrellas, organizations, the universities, TVET institutions, and others. And of course, their contribution was great to this process and demonstrates a huge desire to have this change and to improve the system, the TVET system in general in Palestine. But one of the main challenges maybe I would like to highlight here that the TVET system in Palestine by itself is fragmented, and we don't have a unified umbrella or governance umbrella for the system. So this makes the things more difficult, and the challenge was higher. But at the end, through this process, we succeeded to have all the stakeholders together on one table and discussed this issue, as I mentioned, during 5 to 6 months. So we collected the ideas, we hear to all the stakeholders, taking into consideration each opinion and discuss it with all the partners to reach a common understanding and agreement on each point of this. Of course, as you know, maybe Palestine itself has another challenge, the context of the country, the political situation, the economic situation. It's a unique situation here in Palestine where it's separated into different regions as well, geographically, I mean. So we have 3 main regions. We have the West Bank, we have Gaza Strip, and also we have Jerusalem. So during the discussions, 2 opinions were raised. The first one, to make it regionally on the level of each part of the country. But the second one was, we need at the end to have a national mechanism. So
I think if I may just interrupt and then I give you the floor back again, Nidal, I like to underline what you were saying, that a partnership is not improvised. I mean, you need to design, you need to have an approach. And somehow we heard also similar story from Serbia and Albania, but I believe in this case, it really shows that you are learning the lesson from the past and starting in the right manner with a really careful design. And maybe this design takes more time, but it will provide better results after. And my next question, and also thank you for highlighting the difficulties, because of course, not everything is smooth and easy. But one question I have, because you have mentioned the fragmentation, but you also have mentioned the involvement of various actors and partners. And can you please tell us who are these partners and why are they there? I mean, what is motivating for them to be part of the Skills Development Fund?
Yes, in this mechanism and in the TVET system in general in Palestine, we have 3 main actors. First, we can consider the government agencies with all the different players, and we have here more than 1 ministry involved in the TVET system, mainly the Ministry of Labor and Ministry of Education and Higher Education. This is the first part, but also the most important part from my point of view is the private sector, represented by the umbrellas of the private sector, mainly the Federation of Chambers, Federation of Industry, and others from the private sector side. And maybe the third main part as well is the donors community here in Palestine. Because maybe the conditions and the context of Palestine, there are many supporters to Palestine in different sectors. One of them is the TVET sector. They have, during the past 15 years, a great contribution to the TVET system. So we consider them as a main actor within this process. So we included them as well in our discussions, in our dialogue, to have their support, their experience. Of course, we returned back in this phase to different international and regional experiences that we took what fit to the Palestinian context and to build on it. These are the 3 main actors. Of course, in the dialogue sessions, in the brainstorming, we also followed a bottom-up approach where we invited many of the TVET institutions, some of the businesses, and some NGOs in the country. So we tried to have all the actors in one table. And what I can mention here from our experience, when we planned something like that in the past, we used to do it in hurry. And we specify 2 weeks, 1 month, and we need results. In this experience with Enable, the situation changed. The approach had been changed. We decided to give enough time to all the actors and to do it gradually and not to do it one shot, because we need reflections. We need to go to have them convinced of this approach, not only to sit on the table and say yes or no. So we left a good time for all the partners between round tables, different round tables during the 5 months. And we also followed mainly with the private sector umbrella, a bilateral discussion. Because here in Palestine, the private sector historically is not too much involved in the TVET system. But the success of this mechanism will not be achieved if we will not have an active and convinced private sector, of course, be in the steering committee, be in the steering chair. As well, we need their commitment and their contribution to this SDF. So, therefore, based on that, we shifted to the second phase. The second phase, of course, let me just finalize the first point. Of course, a continuous discussion and open discussion is still taking place with the private sector umbrellas, mainly, because we are looking also to build their capacities and to know exactly where is the gaps, why in the past they didn't succeed to play this role. So this dialogue will be helpful for the future, for the sustainability. The government, of course, the government institutions is ready, and like, you know, the system is always the same. We can't make a big change with the governmental system, but we can with the other actors, the private sector, and also the support of other international organizations and local community in Palestine organizations, of course.
That's so important what you're highlighting, Nidal, because of course we are talking about financial resources. Skill funds is about budget, it's about mobilizing money, but that's not all. There are other resources that are crucial: the motivation of people, the understanding of the meaning of the why we're doing so, as well as the capacity. You need to be able to manage a fund, to discuss, to decide about the project, to select, to assess the results, and so on. So a lot of new resources that are being mobilized from the very beginning. And you are taking